and I'm slapping the guys right on the tuchus, and I'm saying, hey, good season, good season, good season. And then I'm going back to my hotel, and I'm going to shed a little tear because when you come that close to winning the pennant, you don't know when you're going to be back again. So for the Red Sox, my conclusion on them, it really was they outperformed. Remember, they were fighting for a playoff spot only a few weeks ago with the Blue Jays and Yankees. Yeah. Do you remember that, Steve?
I do. It seems like a lifetime ago, but I do remember it.
And they had to win the wild card game over the Yankees.
Right.
And now look, they almost won the pennant. They should have won the pennant.
Nobody saw this coming for the Red Sox this year, and we will talk about what the future holds for the Red Sox in just a little bit. But, you were talking about the emotion of losing it, right? What about the emotion of winning it? And we were talking a little bit about this while we were watching the game, reminiscing a little bit about you winning the pennant in 2003. Dusty Baker going back to the World Series for the first time since 2002. What is this moment like for these guys, even the ones who have been there before in the Astros?
So I was looking at Dusty Baker because when we won the pennant in 2003, Dusty Baker was the manager of the losing team. And now Dusty Baker gets to go to the World Series again for his second time. He's won the most games of any manager without a World Series title. I know right now he is breathing an incredible sigh of relief because I remember winning the pennant in Chicago. It felt better than actually winning the World Series at Yankee Stadium, as crazy as that sounds, because we had come back from 3-1 and it was so improbable. But look at that, Jim Crane, the owner of the Astros. That tape that CBS Sports HQ just showed you, the owner is very calmly applauding, very, very even-keeled. What's interesting about that, he wants to win this World Series more than his first one in 17 because he wants a World Series that people will not say is garbage can related or buzzer related. There's no sense of sign stealing. Even if it is going on, no one's talking about it this year. That's what Jim Crane wants and the Astros want. The redemption tour doesn't stop winning the pennant, which is why they're happy, but they're not jumping for joy. They're not having a parade. They need a ring in 21.
I will say this, not to just harp on the sign-stealing scandal again. It's been talked about ad nauseum. We're past it. But when you see the success that the Astros continue to have here, without, we think, all of what went on in 2017, it makes what happened in 2017, in my opinion, even worse. They didn't need to do it. This is a talented team. They didn't need to do it.
We were all doing it. Everybody was stealing signs every year. That's just what you do. They just got caught. We have talked about it. You can go to Nothing Personal with David Samson if you want to hear more in the catalog a year ago. This Astros team is good, but they've been good now in 17, 19, 21, and in the years in between. Remember, Springer is a Blue Jay. This is a team that continues. It doesn't have the same pitching it had when it won the World Series in 17, and they're finding ways to win. And it just shows you that when Altuve, Bregman, and Brantley at the top of this lineup, when they're going, and then you add Alvarez, who likely is the MVP.
Yeah, and that's where I was going to go, right? So we talk about what wasn't there in 2017 was Alvarez. Alvarez was not there in 2017, and where would the Astros be without Yordan Alvarez? 4 for 4 in this clincher. 12 for 23 in the ALCS. That's a .522 batting average.
Did he out-hit the Red Sox himself?
The last 3 games he did. I mean, it was an incredible performance by him. Specifically, we've gotten long enough here into this segment without talking about just the wonder that Alvarez was. What did you see out of him here in this series?
So watch his approach. You're not seeing guys go the other way, go up the middle the way he did tonight. You're seeing guys get down on the knob and go for the home runs. Alvarez is going for contact and going for base hits and getting on base. And can you imagine what happens when you do that? You have a winning team that's going to the World Series. What an interesting number 4-hole hitter who's not just trying to hit it to the upper deck. He's willing to leg out a triple. He's willing to go against the shift the other way, and that's how you win MVP. We're live here. Has it been announced yet?
It doesn't have to be announced.
He's the MVP.
If it's announced, could someone get in our ear and tell us if it's announced? But he's clearly the MVP. He had .522.
I voted for him.
Clearly the MVP of the NLCS. One of the things of the AL, what did I say, the NLCS? See, we are live.
Cut.
The ALCS, now you can't cut it. We're live. Can't cut it. The ALCS. So one of the things that you and I really love to do and have done here over the last number of days is talk about how things don't happen in a vacuum and specific plays in the game that change things and alter what happens the rest of the way. And there were 2 plays, one in the bottom of the 6th, that led to something in the top of the 7th that I want to talk about. So bottom of the 6th inning, Kyle Tucker up first and third, nobody out. Sharp ground ball to Kyle Schwarber at first base. He gets the double play, but lets Alvarez score there, turns his back to the play. What did you think of that in real time?
Do we have tape? Because if we have tape, you're going to see something. Look at Schwarber. He doesn't know what to do. He's wet. No, you never turn your back to the runner. He turned his back for a 2 count. That is the first thing they teach you at first baseman school and infielder school. Remember, Schwarber is not a first baseman. I give him credit for even knowing what to do when that ball was hit to him and to have the presence of mind to tag the runner and step on the base, but you cannot give up that run. Now, he's being consoled by Arroyo saying, hey, you did a great job, way to go. But in the front office and in the manager's office, you're saying, hey, please keep your eye on the runner at third, because while Alvarez was going on contact, what I'm doing there is I'm stepping on first, not worrying about the tag, and I'm throwing home because I cannot let that extra run score.
Now you're watching us on HQ and you're saying, well, why are you talking about that, guys? The final score was 5-0. Doesn't matter if it was 1 run or 10 runs. They didn't score a run, 1-0 game. You know, that's it. But why that matters is because then in the top of the next inning, the Red Sox were threatening. First and third, 1 out, Travis Shaw up, strike him out, throw him out. They send Verdugo, put Verdugo in motion to end the inning. If it's a 1-run game and not a 2-run game, do they send that runner?
They don't. I'm actually surprised that the runner was sent by Cora in a 2-run game, because the Red Sox are apt to hit a 3-run home run at any point in the lineup. But they hadn't been hitting it all, so Cora's trying to do something. We would tell our manager that when we're in a slump during the regular season, postseason, whenever. We'd say, get the game in motion. Let's go. Let's try something different. So Cora gets the runner moving, but that caused the strike him out, throw him out. So what's interesting is a play earlier on defense, as Steve said, impacts what happens on offense. And at that point, it was 2-0, not 5-0. The final score is misleading. If you didn't watch the game, Tucker hit a 3-run homer in the 8th inning, but when it's 1-0, you don't want it to be 2-0.
So let's talk about these Red Sox now, who, again, it was a disappointing end. They thought that they were well on their way to a World Series appearance, but this season was not supposed to be what it turned into. So overall, despite the disappointing finish, do you look at it as a success?
Alex Cora has to be looked at as a potential manager of the year candidate in the American League with what he did with the Red Sox coming back. There is an argument to be made that managers don't make a huge difference to a ball club. They can make a good team great, maybe, but I'll tell you, Alex Cora coming back made a huge difference. You can see what his guys do for him, and having Chaim Bloom run that baseball department. The Red Sox are an interesting team, but they have so many decisions to make. This season was a huge success, but they need pitching badly because they've got Evaldi coming back, Sales coming back, who in theory is going to be at full strength, and after that, it's basically Steve and David.
What's next? So you said pitching. Where do they go here? How do they reinforce, build upon this successful season?
Well, assuming they don't want us pitching for them.
Which is not, don't make that assumption.
I'm not.
Don't make that assumption. I'm just saying.
We could do it together.
I know.
Combined, we could throw 98.
And we could probably give some length too, last about an inning.
One whole inning. And we could pitch once every 4 weeks, and that's it. So the Red Sox have to make a decision. And if you know Chaim like I know Chaim, he doesn't want to go out and do a Garrett Cole-type contract to a free agent. I'm not sure his ownership wants him to do it, and I don't think he believes that's the best way to build a team. They've got to do a better job of what Brian Cashman with the Yankees tried to do this season, signing short-term deals with the Klubers of the world, the Talons of the world. Bloom and his staff are going to identify starters for next year. They tried with Martin Perez. They have Rodriguez, who's going to be a free agent. It's going to be starters like that. They're not going to go get Scherzer and give him $20 to $25 million a year. They could be a player for Noah Syndergaard if he gets non-tendered by the Mets on sort of a short-term deal to see if he can prove health again. It's that type of move where front offices make a difference, and the Boston Red Sox have a smart front office. Look for them to make smart moves.
So that's the Red Sox story, but the Astros story, the finish is yet to be written. So what happened? What do you think?
They're going for a ring.
Well, they're going for a ring. Did they get the ring? We don't know who they're playing. So how do they match up quickly against the Braves and against what is now a shorthanded Dodgers team if the Dodgers do come from behind for the second straight year?
So let's work under the assumption that the Braves can win in Game 6. And the reason I'm making that assumption is that would line up their pitching for the World Series, where they could go to Fried, Morton, Anderson in Games 1, Games 2, and Game 1, 2, and 3. And remember that the Braves would not have home field advantage in the World Series. The Astros would actually get to play games 1 and 2 at home, and their pitching is completely lined up. So with Valdez going game 1 and Garcia going game 2 of the World Series, they would have the advantage. What they are rooting for right now, if I am running the Astros, I want a 20-inning Game 7 to happen on Sunday night, where the team would not be at the World Series site, whether it's in Houston or at home. If you are the Braves, 20 innings, total exhaustion, and that's what the Astros are rooting for.
As we finish this segment, we can now officially tell you, Jordan Alvarez, National League, American League. I did it twice, but I caught myself. American League Championship Series MVP, the .522 batting average, the highest ever in an ALCS. Yes, that will get you an MVP. He's David Samson. I'm Steve Gelbs. The Houston Astros going back to the World Series. And by the way, you heard David Samson plug that podcast, Nothing Personal with David Samson. And this is what it looks like. This is the logo. This is all the places that you can get it. Download, subscribe. The greatest CBS sports podcast ever. Am I doing a good job?
You're hired.
All right. Every day. Every day. 5 days a week.
45 minutes.
Nothing Personal with David Samson.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.